our referee for tonight, John Blackledge. If you give a round of applause. The next fight of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, features fighting out the red corner, giving up for Miguel Ruiz.
TMA return of the champions, and what a card Gavin Burrows has got for us. And making his way to the ring will be Spain's Miguel Ruiz to take on one of the champions of the title, wrapped in the Spanish flag there, making his way to the ring. Packed crowd, full of expectation here.
And his opponents fighting out of the blue corner. From Gilmore's fight scene, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rob Diesel Stevens.
And listen to the crowd roar for his opponent, Rob Diesel Stevens, former champion of the world. And I've had the pleasure of commentating on this man on a number of occasions, including an absolutely incredible bout with Stephen Cook in Bournemouth. One of the fights I'll always remember in my long career for sheer fluid kickboxing. And that's what this man is, a fluid kickboxer. He's also a pressure cooker fighter. When he was competing regularly at his prime, he would always keep the pressure on you, would always be forcing the pace. And as I said, he's very fluid indeed with his techniques, hands and feet together. And that's one of the things that excites me about this concept from Gavin Burrows, bringing back champions that we remember, champions that had a skill set of flowing technique, genuine full contact kickboxers, hands and feet together. And this man is one of those. Done his time, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, but coming back for this last hurrah for TMA's return of the champions. 5 2-minute rounds.
Full contact, high 2-minute round, kickboxing and fighters. Fighting in the red corner from Spain, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miguel Ruiz. His opponents fighting out the blue corner from Gilmore's fight team. Currently the ICA World Champion, the ICO World Champion, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rob Diesel Stevens.
John Blackledge calls them to the centre of the ring. Final instructions. And here we go, round 1 of 5. And trademark sidekick from Stevens to start the bout. Left and right to follow. Left roundhouse, steps away nice and loose, all that experience. Short right hand, no setup, then the sidekick. And this is what I'm talking about with Stevens, pressure cooker style fighter. Right roundhouse from Ruiz. Stevens, there you go, left leg, right hand. Sharp reply from Ruiz. Diesel, that left leg getting to work early, steps away from the response. Works well, that side kick like an extra jab. Throws the side kick, then brings the right hand over the top. And there you saw, slick left, side kick again. Works defensively, but if you get your opponent off balance, turns that defense into offense. Switches to the right leg, Stevens. Tight guard in and out. And as I said at his prime, this was the pace with the amount of kicks thrown that were natural to him. Would wear opponents down, relentless. Ruiz just being beaten to the punch literally here. Diesel's timing paramount here, and as you see, as Ruiz sets up to work, he smiles because he sets up to work. Stevens beats him to it. He's had success with the right round kick and he looks sharp, but there again, forced to tuck up, and the right roundhouse lands cleanly from Stevens. Ruiz looks to come forward, but again, that jamming side kick this time. And just misses with the right hand, Ruiz, but Stevens slips through with the left. Timing and accuracy from the former champion of the world. And there's the end of the first round. It was a comfortable first round for Stevens. Fought within his comfort zone, beat his man to the punch and the kick. And for me, controlled the ring. Look at that, what a beautiful setting. Ruiz will have to get off fast. He'll have to get off first. He can't afford to wait. I'm sure that's what his Spanish coach is telling him. At the moment, he's just second best as we go into the second round. That's better from Ruiz. Just the side kick just too close this time from Stevens, and Ruiz capitalised, but Stevens correcting that now, doubles up the side kick, then the round kick off that lead leg, blocks the return, steps away from the second kick, pushes that side kick out once more, then the round kick coming in. Sharp boxing replies from Ruiz. He's been woken up by his coach and told you must respond. I heard a good analogy about how we must respond as fighters. It's like answering a question, answer immediately. The question's asked, answer it immediately, and that's what Ruiz is trying to do now. Stevens still getting his work off, still slick, but Ruiz responding immediately this time, and that's why he landed with that right hand. Comes forward, Stevens forced to tuck up and then hold. Much better start to the second round. Ruiz coming alive here in the second. Listen to his coach and beginning to ask questions of Diesel. Diesel just needs to get back to the basics that were serving him so well in the opening round. But again, the kicking just slightly off target here in the second. Good stiff jab though. Walks into the round kick to negate the power and then gets his own left roundhouse off. Takes that short right roundhouse. Blocks the left and throws his own right, and then the left once more. Polo punch, right hand to the taller opponent, knows where the head is. Stiff jab, Stevens, then the round kick. Almost caught there by Ruiz, but you can see the second round is a lot more competitive because of Ruiz's attitude. Now the crowd for Diesel. Now that for me was a much more even round. Champion in his own right, and a great co-commentating friend of mine, Neil Kelly, in Rob Stevens' corner there, commentated together on numerous occasions and had the pleasure of commentating on many of his fights. Superb athlete, superb coach. Round 3 of 5, and Stevens, that side kick crisper, doubles up the round kick though, Ruiz. Stevens steps back in quickly, steps away from the uppercut response. And the left hook, moving better again now in the third, Stevens, but he has to because Ruiz is really much more competitive across the second and this the third. Might be thinking to himself, this is a champion coming out of retirement, is there still plenty in the gas tank? Can I wear him down? Well, at this, the answer's no here in the third, because that was a slick combination set up by the legs and then the body punches from Stevens. Tucks up tight after he's done his work, not taking any chances. Steps back away again. Left hand, right leg. Can't take away that experience either. And again, I love a sweep when it doesn't take a man to the floor but takes him off balance for the punch combinations. For me, a sweep that takes a man to the floor only annoys him. A sweep that takes him off balance, sets up the punches, just as you saw there with Stevens. And again, here in the third, it's the timing. He's back to timing it better and forcing Ruiz to reset, whereas before Ruiz was replying and stinging back immediately. The in and out nature of the work this time from Stevens in round 3 has negated the work of Ruiz once more. Conserving energy when he doesn't need it. That's the championship mentality. That's the experience. Slips that right hand. Very telegraphed from Ruiz. Not the snap there was in the second. And Stevens, the left leg lands to him. Now spins Ruiz, but too close. Stevens steps inside it. Snapping right hand though. The Spaniard still dangerous. Nice left to the body as well. This is better from Ruiz. But there's the bell, and for me that third round went away from him. I've got first and third to Stevens, second drawn with 2 to go. So here we go, 4 of 5. And Stevens getting back behind that side kick, round kick combination. Pushing Ruiz back. It's like the jab, but the leg is a longer limb. And there's the high round kick from Stevens, the crowd responding to that. And again, his timing, look, every time Ruiz sets to work, Stevens just steps in there, does it first. Preemptive countering, where you throw the counter just before your opponent does the work, so he's got to reset again. It requires excellent timing, and that's something you'll get from a former world champion. Stevens, nice work there to come inside and get the boxing going, especially that left hook. Ruiz, you can see, looking to come forward now, throwing the heavy shots. He needs a count, possibly a stoppage here. And this is better from the Spaniard. Oh, that left hook though of Stevens messed up the hair there of the young Spaniard. Short right from Diesel, but no power, just out of range with the left. Now throws the bolo right. And then back on his bike, back moving, conserving energy, forcing Ruiz to come on. And then as Ruiz comes on, there's the preemptive striking. It's not as crisp from Diesel as you'd probably expect from someone coming out of retirement. The clues there in the title, return of the champions. And as I said it again, a fantastic concept from Gavin Burrows. And there's the end of the fourth. It was scrappier. Stevens was tireder, as to be expected, but he's still, for me, taking the rounds. And for me, it wasn't as crisp, but he still took round 4. So that means Ruiz will need a knockout here in round 5. So they hug at the beginning of round 5 here. The crowd gets behind Stevens, and I expect a concerted effort from Ruiz here. He'll know he's behind, and he'll need the count at least. But for his part, Diesel also gets that renewed springing step, knowing that it's the final round. Blocking those 2 kicks from Ruiz, whose nose is bloodied. And again, you can see the intent for Ruiz here. He needs to get in, he needs to let the leather flow, he needs to get at least a count. And Stevens steps in, looked to hold because he thought the work was coming back, but Ruiz hesitated. And that's what he didn't do. The attitude in round 2 was needed throughout the 5 rounds here from Ruiz. But he's caught watching Diesel too often here, and Diesel capitalises. That's better. Big high round kick from Ruiz. He needs to be going in, all guns blazing this 5th round. Nice little sweep again, this time from the Spaniard, and looks to capitalise. Clips Diesel as well with that right leg. Then Diesel lands with the left hand, forcing that nose to bleed some more of Ruiz. Steps in close as well when he finishes. That's another sign of a champion. Many people, when they finish their work, will step back out, and that's stepping back out into the range of your opponent. A lot of the time in this bout, Diesel, after he's finished his work, has stepped into his opponent, keeping him safe, just like that. That's the experience, and a nice little right hand exploded into life there, Stevens. Ruiz stalking him, but not enough work for me, not enough urgency. And again, Stevens just staying mobile, throwing the kicks, throwing the hands, not taking any unnecessary risks. And there again, does his work and steps in, and there, right to the bell. And I think it's apt and fitting that it's Stevens that was finishing. And for me, Stevens all the way.
But there can only be one winner, and your winner, ladies and gentlemen,
yes, the former world champion Rob Diesel Stevens. Excellent win, all sporting now, but a great performance from the former champion.